You're listening to the WINFL show. I'm Ian McKinnon. I'm here with Jake McGee, Dave Somerville, Patrick Jackson, and we are happy to have a returning guest to the WINFL show all the way from Sacramento, California. It is Will Keys. The majestic Will Keys. How are you?
I'm doing well. We are, 3-4 days out from the Super Bowl that everyone is clamoring to watch. I can't wait. What about you guys?
Can't wait, Jake. Are you clamoring to watch the Super Bowl?
I feel like I'm in the minority. It was 38-35 last time. It was a good game last time. I just want a good game. You know, I don't really want either team to win. Yeah.
Until this thing happened.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hope that you can forget about the intense dislikability of both sides and just enjoy the football on its merits on the day. We'll see whether I can manage that after a couple of beers or not.
It's a tall order. I feel the way I do about the Chiefs. And then I just watched this video. Not that this is like anything new, but this guy, his whole shtick is like he'll go to opposing fans' tailgates, or whatever. Mostly tailgates, wearing the opposition's jersey. And he goes to the NFC title game in Philly wearing a Commanders jersey. And these Philadelphia fans, no offense if anyone's watching, are some of the worst people I think ever.
Yeah, I think I saw
they
this
are.
video.
Yeah, definitely.
I always knew, I knew that they're a rowdy bunch, to put it lightly. But I don't think I would set foot within 100 miles of their stadium on game day.
No. They are the anti-Bills,
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say what you will about the Chiefs. Their fans are usually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we've got two really likable teams coming up here on Sunday, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it is the sort of general consensus that this was the worst of the possible matchups that we could have had from the championship games. This is the one that people are like, just anything but this. I could have done with the Commanders and the Chiefs. I could have done with the Bills and the Eagles. I could have done with the Bills and the Commanders. But Chiefs Eagles is just
it's the darkest timeline.
It is.
It's bad. I don't know why I did this, but I did kind of talk myself into the Bills winning that game. And I don't know if it's just wishful thinking or what, or cognitive dissonance. But I should have known better. We all should have known better. Nobody should have picked the Bills in that game. They've given us no reason to pick them in any game of any sort of consequence, and I will not be making that mistake ever again.
No, I mean,
I saw the Jaguars beat the Bills in Tottenham, so I should have known with my own eyes from watching the game. I shouldn't have trusted them against the Chiefs. If you can't beat the Jags, come on.
Exactly.
Hang on, was I not the only one to pick Kansas City?
Yes,
in
you
our
lone
podcast?
wolfed it.
I lone
not
wolfed
like you
it.
haven't
Making the
mentioned
Chiefs a holiday
It's
joke.
just this inevitability of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and you can see it coming, and it hurts as a Broncos fan to see the Chiefs doing so well.
Yeah, but it's like a ball to the face. You know it's coming. You know it's going to hurt. you know it's an inevitability.
It is an inevitability.
It's almost like this time of year I'll kind of like go back and watch old Super Bowls, I guess, just to get ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching the Steelers Cardinals Super Bowl from 2008.
Oh, what
and I think most people were really rooting for the Cardinals. You ever watch something like, whether it's a TV show or like a sporting event, it's already happened, and you're like, maybe the Cardinals will win this time. Maybe Santonio Holmes doesn't get his foot down, or James Harrison doesn't make it all the way to the end zone on that pick six. But you kind of just, for some reason, you're like, maybe it's different this time, watching it for the 33rd time.
The touchdown by Larry Fitzgerald when he splits the safeties.
Oh, man.
Is that not just one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history? If they'd won that game, that would be just the greatest play.
I still think too, and Holmes scores a touchdown with about 35 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Cardinals get a couple plays, they get down the field, and they get into Hail Mary range. And if you watch that whole postseason, Larry Fitzgerald was just catching anything and everything. And I still think to this day, and I thought this at the time too, watching it as a kid, I was like, if Warner can just get that ball in the end zone, the chances of Larry Fitzgerald coming down with it, it felt like at the time like 99% he was going to make that catch. But Lamar Woodley gets in there, strips the ball, and the rest is history.
Oh, what a game!
Unfortunately,
if we get a Super Bowl like that, it'll make up a little bit for the teams who are playing. If you got an exciting game with a last-second comeback or last-second touchdown, last-second Hail Mary, it'll partially make up for it. So
yeah, and say what you will about the Chiefs, and this is kind of true of the Patriots too, but they always play good Super Bowls. The games are always close. Like the Patriots, I think the only one that was not an interesting game was that second Rams Super Bowl where it ended up being 13-3.
Yeah.
That one sucked. And then the Chiefs, all the ones that they've won, first one, good game against the 49ers. Obviously they get blown out by the Buccaneers. Good game in my mind. And then the Eagles and 49ers Super Bowls. Both really good games. Didn't like the outcome, but they were very entertaining to watch. So my only fear is that the Chiefs win and the score is like 20-7.
No.
That's definitely the worst outcome. Now, if we get a close game and the Chiefs win, at least you got to root for something for most of the game, and hopefully that's what happens with a different outcome at the end.
Yes, indeed. Now, we are here to talk about the Super Bowl, so we do need a prediction from you, Will. I need you to tell me who you think is going to win and what the score is going to be, and the score is very important because there's a trophy on the line. Whoever gets it, in fact, if you get it back, do you know what? I'm changing the rules.
Oh, here we go.
If you get it exactly right, whoever wins and if they get scored exactly right, I will name the trophy after that person.
Oh, I like it.
So next year, people could be competing for the Will Keys Trophy.
Yeah.
Alternatively, the Patrick Jackson Trophy. Just saying. How does that sound?
That adds a whole different sense of gravity to this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it affects my score, but I've thought about this for a long time. I've thought about this for about 30 minutes now. And I went to the lab and ran some data.
Yep.
And this is just what the computer told me. I've got the Kansas City Chiefs 23, Philadelphia Eagles 20, and America's favorite kicker, Harrison Butker, wins it at the buzzer with a 53-yard field goal.
Oh my goodness! Well, if that comes true, with the Harrison Butker 53-yarder, then we're definitely naming it after you. Definitely, even if someone else gets the same score.
Yeah, let's hope not. You know what? Yeah, I mean, I'm hedging my bets here because I do want that trophy named after me. I don't want this to happen. So either way, if I'm correct and I get either the trophy or the trophy named in my honor, that's great. If I'm wrong and we get an Eagles win instead, that's almost equally as good. But you guys know, so I don't know if I'm breaking any news here, but Brandon is, if the Chiefs win, he is going to the parade.
Oh, they made that milestone then.
Kansas City.
Did he?
I don't know if he hit the milestone.
He's just going.
He's going.
He's going regardless.
Oh, that's
he is going.
brave.
I will not be there.
No.
Thank God. My brother decided to get married next week, so I'd probably rather be there than in Kansas City celebrating a potential Super Bowl. But that's the kind of the silver lining of all this is we'll hopefully get really good content if the Chiefs do indeed pull off their devil magic once again.
You should send him to the other Kansas City, and then he's just looking around, going, "Where's the parade? Where is it?"
Kansas City, Kansas. That's got to be confusing. I mean, it's confusing for us, but yeah, we've got a Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, and then you've got Arkansas, which is just all Kansas.
Yeah. Well, you got stupid stuff like New York City isn't even the capital of New York. You probably say that about California. I mean, most people probably think like San Francisco or Los Angeles is the capital of California. It's not. It's right where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
But we have some weird little idiosyncrasies here for sure.
I think our favorite trope is the fact that the two New York teams aren't in New York and Buffalo is in New York.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They're New Jersey. They're firmly New Jersey.
Yeah.
Like the players don't even live in New York.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my god. Well, I suppose, New Jersey. What's it famous for? The Sopranos. Bruce Springsteen.
Clarks.
So
no.
Yeah, and some really bad NFL teams. So I have to admit, I thoroughly enjoyed the Jets being garbage this year because I can't stand Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they were bad. I do like Aaron Glenn a lot. I don't know if he fixes it year one. I would like them a lot more if they traded Garrett Wilson to the Broncos.
True.
Sometime soon. That would be nice.
I just couldn't believe he got rid of Salah, as if it was his fault. It's the stupidest firing.
Well, that was just a dysfunctional organization. Like if you read any of the reporting coming out of there, like they had more leaks than Game of Thrones, just in terms of like unnamed sources and all of that. Like truly a dysfunctional organization, up to the owner on down to the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if he's going to be there next year. Who knows?
I think he will. I don't think he should be. I think he will, but
I think he's got to hang him up.
I think he should.
Left.
No, he's just not.
It's time. It's time, Aaron. Go back to the darkness.
Yes, sit in your
Stay there.
cave or whatever.
Just go. Yeah, enter the cave, and you can come out in 10 years.
Yes,
I think
10-year retreat.
He's got too big a head, too big of an ego to really just say to himself, "Well, I've done everything I need to. I can go. I can retire happy now." He has this. I don't know what it is now. Is it
just a massive ego?
And,
it's just massive.
Yes, but he's got a newfound determination to prove that he can still do it at age 64, whatever it is he is. But he's not far off it.
Yeah.
Well, on Pat McAfee's show, he always says, once he retires, you won't see me anymore. I'm going to disappear off into the wilderness. You'll never hear from me again. And nobody believes it because nobody loves Aaron Rodgers more than Aaron Rodgers loves Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, says the guy who just had a Netflix documentary produced about him. Sorry, guys, I don't like attention. Once I'm gone, I'm gone. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have some quality family time. Oh, wait, all my family hate me.
Yeah. It's just the Will Smith and Fresh Prince gif where nobody's there. Me and my family.
Yeah. No, well, you're a Broncos fan.
Sure am.
Like myself, which I like to see. It's always good to have a fellow Broncos fan on here.
Yes, sir.
Bo Nix had one of the best rookie seasons. Do you know what? In NFL history, the guy had an incredible season. We made the playoffs for the first time since 2015. Double-digit wins for the first time since 2015. And you'd like to think that things can only get better going forward. What was your thoughts on the Broncos past season? What are you looking for in 2025?
Well, I was not feeling good after those first couple of games. Obviously, the Seahawks game was just a tough matchup. And then I actually went to the Steelers game week 2. That was a really, really tough watch in person. I think we scored 6 points. So not a great product. And then the flip kind of, or the switch kind of gets flipped week 3 against Tampa Bay, and you see this side of Bo Nix, kind of what they drafted him for, where he gets in this like rhythm sometimes where it feels like he can't miss, and you got your first glimpse of that in Tampa Bay, and then you see it kind of over the course of the season. It becomes a little more frequent. You have that game against Carolina where he's just awesome, and once again, it just feels like he's in this incredible zone, and he can do whatever he wants. And he just got more and more consistent, more confident over the course of the entire year. Obviously, the numbers back that up. He has this 4-touchdown game against Atlanta where he was great. He finishes off the year 38-0 against the Kansas City Chiefs. And by the way, history will just remember that as a 38-0 defeat of the Kansas City Chiefs. No one's gonna check who played. We'll just assume that was Patrick Mahomes for the rest of the time.
Pretty sure it was.
But I think, one of the games that really impressed me the most was that Colts game where he throws 3 interceptions, comes back, evens it out with 3 touchdowns. And it just felt like the whole team had confidence in him. He was able to, shake off what could have been a really disastrous game and then ultimately get the win. But yeah, when you look at the raw numbers, it's pretty crazy. Like 29 touchdowns. No one outside of Peyton Manning has thrown more than 27 in a season for Denver. So to hit that mark, and Peyton's kind of in a league of his own. But to have as good raw passing numbers as any rookie in the NFL, and I know that Jaden Daniels is going to win Rookie of the Year tomorrow night. But for the first time, I'm excited, and it's not just kind of this blind optimism. There's really something to hang your hat on, and there's no reason that he shouldn't get better year 2 in that system, which is a pretty complicated system. And now I think the job is what the job is for the Commanders, which is maximize your ability to win within a rookie quarterback contract window. And we'll see how they go about doing that, but obviously they've got to run the ball better. And fortunately, this is one of the best running back draft classes in recent memory, starting with Genty, and then there's a whole bunch of guys in the first 2 or 3 rounds that can really help you out day one. And then they probably need one more guy on the outside, whether that it comes through free agency or trade or the draft. And then they got to find some kind of difference maker at tight end. Because it really is like a really impressive thing that Bo Nix did was he had really just a garbage running game for most of the season. He really didn't get any help. One of the worst in the
league, yeah.
One of the worst. Javonte Williams, unfortunately, is a shell of himself at this point. And then they got close to zero production out of the tight ends. They're good. They're good guys to have in your locker room and blocking the edge, but there's no one that comes close to even scaring an opposing defense. Like no one's game planning around Adam Troutman or Nate Atkins or Lucas Kroll, as far as I know.
No.
So we got to get one guy there, and I loved the Penn State guy, Tyler Warren. Just watching him all season, and he seems like a Sean Payton guy, but he's also like the 5th best player in the draft per a couple boards, and it might take a miracle to get him at 20, and I don't think they're interested in trading up. But there's also some good tight ends. There's Colston Loveland out of Michigan and Fannin from Bowling Green, and there's all these guys. So it's a great draft to not be looking for a quarterback, which they're not, and I feel bad for all the teams that need a quarterback this year. But there's always going to be wide receivers in the draft. There's a lot of good running backs that the Broncos need, and there's a lot of good tight ends that the Broncos need. So I'm optimistic that they will. I don't know if they hit wide receiver, running back, and tight end this year, but I think they get 2 out of the 3. At least.
I don't feel bad for those teams at all because we've had 9 years of this. 9
That's
years
fair.
of awful quarterback, the worst quarterback play. Remember Joe Flacco? He was terrible. And then all of a
Sure
sudden,
did.
he can play for Indianapolis and he can play for Cleveland. And we're going, what's
Yeah,
going
what
on
the
here?
hell was that all about?
Yeah, exactly. What was that all about? He was garbage.
He killed us as a member of the Ravens, and he killed us as a member of the Broncos.
Yeah. And you mentioned that Colts game. I do remember, I think it was after Nick's second pick or third pick, two of the defensive guys going over to him on the sideline, they showed it. And I think it was Zach Allen and maybe Nick Bonito, going and patting the shoulder saying, don't worry about it. We've got this. Of course, Nick Bonito then had a pick six. Well, that weird reverse pass pick six. But you compare that to Russell Wilson, where defenders were screaming at him on the sidelines. And I think the chemistry that in that locker room, I'm assuming, definitely on the sidelines is completely different with Bo Nix there. And
there's just this massive culture shift. And Sean Payton took some heat, obviously, when he, I don't want to say ran Russell Wilson out of the building, but facilitated his exit.
Oh, it's very diplomatic. Yes.
For sure. And he caught a lot of heat for the Bo Nix pick. And in a vacuum, you'd say, yeah, that is a bad pick to be taking the sixth best quarterback in the top half of the first round. But guess what? Some years there are a lot of good quarterbacks, and some years there aren't. And it just so happened that, we'll see with the other guys, but turns out that's going to be a really good quarterback draft. And if you got a shot at one of them and he fits your system and he fits what you want to do, who cares where you take him?
Absolutely.
After year one, it looks better than the Caleb Williams pick.
I think the best thing about Sean Payton is he doesn't care what other people think. In fact, I think he quite likes proving people wrong. So he loves that stuff. And you mentioned about the Broncos' lack of tight ends. I was a bit surprised to see then the tight end coach get promoted to the Bears offensive coordinator. That felt a bit out of left field to me.
Was strange.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know what the hell he was doing last year. Probably spent most of the season campaigning for an offensive coordinator job. But I guess I don't want to say he maximized the talent that he had, because they really didn't do much of anything. But I don't know. You never know what, like, the fact that Davis Webb didn't get an OC job and the tight ends coach did was very, very surprising to me. And he's like Declan Doyle. He's what, like 28 or something?
I think that's all to do with it. They're always looking for the next, Sean McVay. So I think that is very much he's 28. He's shown some promise. We'll get him in. Whereas the tried and tested guys, not so much. But I think Darren Rizzi will be a very big pickup for you guys, special teams coach. Another Saints guy that Sean Payton loves and trusts. So he, let the man do his business, because you've seen the Saints before Sean Payton. You've seen the Saints post Sean Payton. It's not a pretty show. So the guy knows what he's doing.
Well, another thing about the Declan Doyle, the tight ends coach, he's also the offensive coordinator for Ben Johnson. Which, how much are you really doing there? Maybe
true.
You just go talk to Cole Kmet and just stay over there, Declan. Take notes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's just like making coffee runs or something.
I don't know why they have these sort of place filler. Like for 20 years, the Patriots had a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So one guy called the defense, or Sean Payton with an offensive coordinator. Like, what are you doing?
Right. I think they just run meetings, and that's probably close to it.
The Patriots defense, Bill Belichick just went, I'll just give it my kid. My kid can be the defensive coordinator. And that's, he runs it for me.
Yeah, quite right.
As the Jags are finding out, it's a way to poach Tampa's offensive line coach. We can't have him as an offensive line coach, but we can promote him to our OC and then not use him as an OC. That works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'll work.
They ruffled some feathers over there in Tampa. That seems like it's some kind of Florida rivalry brewing up there now.
Yeah, they were very disgruntled by that whole thing, and I can sort of see it, because he left, and then he said, actually, I won't leave, and then he left again, and we are where we are. I mean, there's not that many head coaching gigs to go, so you go for one when you get the chance to go for one, I think. And he already got a sign that the owner's backing him above the GM he previously seemed to trust above everything else. So it's a good sign he's got the buy-in he wants and the time to build a program. It looks like a multi-year rebuild there, and we should be used to those by now.
Should be.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe in multi-year rebuilds anymore. I think you can, if you do things right, I think you can turn things around in a year. Everybody says it's going to take 3 years to rebuild this roster. It's not really. Not if you have a good coach and you hit on a quarterback. And the Jags, who knows if they hit on the coach, but they already have a quarterback who's proven that he can play at a Pro Bowl level. Right? I think he was a Pro Bowler in 2022, but that's the most important piece. That's the hardest thing to find, and they've already got it. So now you maybe just don't throw around, $100 million in free agency to Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis.
The Gabe Davis one stings.
Yeah.
I heard a pretty strong rumor today that Evan Ingram would be out as well because he didn't fit what Cohen likes to use his tight ends for, with Denver one of the strong names in the frame for that. So that's an option for you as well as the strong draft class.
Evan Ingram, eh?
Yeah, well, he's kind of a big slot receiver.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I'd take him.
I mean, that's what you need. But just on Liam Cohen, he was the Rams offensive coordinator. Was it not the year we won the Super Bowl? I want to say.
Everyone's big issues with Liam Cohen wasn't the fact that he won't. It's the fact Nick Sirianni'd it and was like, "Oh, my kid's sick, and I won't answer my phone because my kid's sick." And it's like, "Oh, I've signed a contract now." Oh, so he's learned from Nick Sirianni that to take a lot of the heat off, you just, "Oh, my kid. What about my kid?"
I don't know if any of you guys have kids, but it seems like your kid being sick is just the trump card for getting out of anything.
Yes,
it's Liam Cohen's used it multiple times as well. It's not his first. My kid's sick.
I would pull that every day.
I don't have kids, but when I recently changed jobs, and I was so tempted to tell them that I had kids, just to use it as an excuse, like everyone else does. For anything, I need to go early. I'm going to be late coming in. I need to take an extended lunch. I can't be in tomorrow. They're like, what?
Will had to burn his apartment down the last time that was needed.
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, this one's upright. Right. No, it really is the trump card.
It certainly is. Now, Will, do you have a random stat for us?
I do.
Excellent.
I do. I think this is it's an okay one. It's a good one. So there have been 15 interceptions returned for touchdowns in Super Bowl history. There have been 15 of them, which doesn't feel like a lot, especially because there wasn't one from 1986 through 1999. So we went half the 80s and all of the 90s without a pick six. And then there's this explosion of pick sixes with the Ravens when they won, Patriots, and then the Buccaneers had 3 in one game, which is still crazy to think about. But out of those 15 pick sixes, how many teams do you think won the game?
Oh.
Let's say there are probably 12. 12 teams that had a pick six in the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers had 3. How many teams do you think won the Super Bowl?
So
at least one, because the Saints.
The Saints,
let's just get out a bit.
The Steelers, James Harrison.
Yep.
Who did Willie Wood?
I mean, if the Bucs had 3 and they didn't win, that's
the Raiders beat the Vikings. Willie Wood, and that was back in Super Bowl. What was that? It was 5 or 6.
Willie Wood, what a name!
Woody? I don't know.
Willie Brown.
Willie Brown.
But I think Willie Wood had one in the first Super Bowl.
Oh, he was the Packers. So Willie Brown. I'm going to say 9.
7.
7?
Dave?
What do you guys think?
I'll be awkward and go 8.
I'll go 6 then. Why not?
That's all. Only one team has had a pick six in the Super Bowl and not won the game. Only one.
Oh,
and it was the last pick six.
The Atlanta Falcons.
That's right. Yeah, Robert Alford picked off Tom Brady before halftime. I think to push the score to 21-3.
I think you might be right.
And we all know what happened after that.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. I thought it's kind of they kind of happen in bunches, and there wasn't one for such a long time. But basically, unless you're the Atlanta Falcons, who should have won that game, if you get a pick six in the Super Bowl, you're almost guaranteed victory. Will we see one on Sunday? Probably not. But if you do see one, just know that there's like a 93% chance of that team winning.
wow.
The Falcons could have taken a knee on every fourth quarter snap and won that game.
Probably.
Why they kept throwing the ball is just beyond me. With such a
Well, they could have just run the clock down to like 3 seconds every time and, handed it off to Tevin Coleman or Devontae Freeman, who felt like they were getting 8 yards a carry. And they could have won it that way too. But instead they did the only thing that they couldn't do, didn't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I'm having a bad day, I just stick that game on, make myself feel a bit better.
I can't. I know you hate the Falcons. You're a Saints man, but I just can't. Oh,
Let me ask you guys this. So, what time does the Super Bowl start over there? Is it like 11:30?
It's half past 11.
Bang on.
Yeah.
What do you do all day to prepare for that?
Drink.
Sit and wait. We just sat out drinking, waiting.
Eating and drinking, waiting for it.
Look at the TV until it's on.
Timing the beers is the challenge.
It is.
Yeah.
You don't want to start too early. You do.
But you're really
you
thirsty if you start too late.
You can if you want. You might not remember the whole game, but some games aren't worth remembering. Right?
That's the thing.
And then you guys have to go like do stuff the next day. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Book it off work.
I've got the following day off, so
I've definitely booked it off.
We all book it off. It's probably like it's probably one of the most booked off days in the country. Actually, in fairness, is the Monday after the Super Bowl. I think it probably is because everyone's up till 4 a.m.
It's really. I mean, it's a really popular sport here. Not like this in America, obviously, but it's still a huge sport. And because it generally doesn't finish till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, depending on kickoff time, so many people take the next day off work.
That is the sign of a country that has embraced football, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like that.
We have an entire nation that has a Super Bowl hangover, and it's a proper hangover.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about drinking for the Super Bowl here. Is at least on the West Coast, it starts at 3:30, and so you can drink, and then the game's over at like 7:30. So you're kind of in that, but it's Sunday, and you're not going out after that or anything. So you're just kind of in this weird middle ground. But nothing else starts at 3:30 here. It's such an awkward time to start a game. Usually it's either 10, 1, 1:30, or 5. But we have to pander to the East Coast, unfortunately. But I guess it helps you guys out because you don't want to start at 1:30 a.m. either.
No.
Hey, please no.
Yeah. Well, one day you guys will get a European Super Bowl, I think, in the next decade? What do you guys think?
I think so. I think so. Within the next 10 years, I think it's a possibility.
I think it'll happen.
I think the Super Bowl should be kept in America. I love the Super Bowl, but it's American. It should be kept in America. The games every so often, that's the international series is great, but it's just a couple games here and there.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl though, no, keep it in America, I think.
It'd be a big step up from like Jaguars Bears if they sent us this year.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. But that's not the point. It's just that anything. It's a step up to anything we've ever had. But keep it in America for me.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't want to take up too much of your time, Will, because obviously we know you're a busy man. And we really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us.
Oh, anytime. Anytime. You guys are great.
It's
I appreciate you having me on.
Hopefully we'll be able to get you on maybe like pre-draft.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, whenever you need me.
That would be absolutely wonderful. So
anytime.
a huge thank you to Mr. Will Keys.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
If you want more Will, which you should, check out Will Sucks at Games on YouTube.
Yeah.
Definitely. Will Sucks at Games.
I can't think of an idea to save my life, but one of these days.